everybody, it's Paige, and today's video is going to be all about It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. If you guys have not heard, which I don't know how you wouldn't have heard by now, but Colleen Hoover announced her newest book to be, which is going to be a sequel to her oh so famous It Ends With Us. Now, if you guys have not read It Ends With Us right now, I got ahead of myself. If you have not read this book by now, you need to go read it right now. This book is absolutely fantastic. This is a 5-star read for me. I loved it so much. This was one of the first books that I read that really got me into reading in the first place, like 6 months ago, and now I'm obsessed with Colleen Hoover and reading in general. I will mention that if you guys have not read this book, I would advise you to go read this book and then come back to watch this video, because although I'm not going into detail on the plot and what happens in this book, by talking about the sequel, I will be referencing / mentioning things that would be considered spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, please stop watching this video and go read this book and then come back to this. You can save it for later. I think there's an option for that on YouTube. So just wanted to give that fair warning. Also, this book is definitely 18 plus, and look up the trigger warnings. There are some very sensitive topics in this book, so be careful if you don't want to expose yourself to those things. Look up the trigger warnings before reading this book, but I loved it. I think it's fantastic. It's so good. Okay, so enough about It Ends With Us. Let's talk about It Starts With Us. I got so excited when I saw her announce this over on Instagram. Here is the post that she made announcing. I literally freaked out. I set an alarm because I knew she was making an announcement. I didn't know what it was, but I set an alarm so that I wouldn't miss it, and I was blown out of my mind to see what was waiting for me. So I decided, I have my computer here, I decided to literally make an outline of things that I wanted to talk about in today's video. So yes, this is going to be a very open-ended and conversational type video. Obviously, I don't know what's gonna happen in It Starts With Us, but I am gonna talk about things that I would like to see. I'm gonna talk about things that we know, and let's dive in. If you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so after the longest intro in YouTube history, let's talk about this book. I would love to hear your thoughts on the book and what you would like to see, what you're expecting, anything It Ends With Us or It Starts With Us related, leave it down below in the comments. Let's get a conversation going, because I'm so excited about this. This is so highly anticipated, and it doesn't even come out for a while. It releases October 18th. I've already pre-ordered this book. I pre-ordered it on Amazon. I will have it linked down below if you guys are interested in pre-ordering. I pre-ordered the paperback, and I believe the price as I'm reading this, or as I'm filming this, the price is $13.99 for paperback and $11.99 for Kindle. Both options are available for pre-order, so definitely go pre-order this book if you haven't. There's a few other options as well. I think Target might have it, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million potentially, so you can shop around. I just chose Amazon because it said I would get release day delivery, so this book will be delivered to me on the 18th, and I am so excited about it. So that's the important stuff. Also, obviously, we know that this is a part 2 or a sequel to It Ends With Us, which I wanted so bad. There haven't been many books by Colleen Hoover that I've read and finished and been like almost unsatisfied with the ending because I wanted to know more. I hate when that happens. I understand you have to cut it off at some point, but I feel like Colleen usually does a really good job at wrapping everything up and just kind of like, you know, giving you the main things that you want. Even if you would like more, she gives you the main things and you feel like fulfilled and satisfied. I did not feel that way with this book. I wanted so much more, and to see that we're getting more just makes me beyond excited. So here is your last and final warning for avoiding spoilers. I'm about to talk about some, so please do not continue watching if you have not read this book yet. So here's what we know. Well, everything that I just said, plus here's the cover. The cover is absolutely beautiful. I think it's gonna go fantastic, or it goes fantastic with this cover. They're different enough, but also give you the same type of vibe. So I was pleasantly surprised by the title and the cover. I wouldn't change a thing. I think that they did a great job with that. We also know that she says she's not done with the book. So there's no physical copies yet. There's no ARCs, which are advanced reader copies, which are books given out to people with social media followings and others to review the book ahead of time. That hasn't been a thing yet because she said the book is not done. Which is kind of insane to think about. I have never thought about the timeline of books being published, but they already have a release day, but the book isn't done yet. So I wonder what that means, like how much of it isn't done. Maybe it's just final edits. Maybe she still has some major plot line changes. I can't imagine that that is still in the works. I feel like it's got to be final editing and like printing and manufacturing the book is what's left. That's what I am assuming at least. But she says it's not done. But on Amazon, I saw that it says the book has 352 pages on it. I don't know where they're getting that number. Do they know that for sure? Or are they just putting in filler numbers? I have no idea. There's also a weight on the book too, which I thought was interesting. But she says it's not done, so who knows if that information is accurate. The book also has the tagline. I don't know if that's the right word that I'm looking for, but it says every ending has a beginning. So this makes me so excited because I can only imagine the places that she is going to take this book. Like I said, I do have a list of things that I would like to see and that I hope to see in the book that I'm going to talk about later, but let me know what you guys want to see in this book, like specific or general. Just let me know. She said we're getting more Lily and Atlas. Now, hopefully you have read this book and you have stopped watching if you have not read It Ends With Us yet. I warned you. That's all I can say is I gave you multiple warnings. But we're gonna get more Lily and Atlas, which makes me so happy because that is what I needed. That is what I wanted. I felt so unfulfilled, even though this whole entire time I'm like, okay, like come on, like we need Atlas back in here, like Lily and Atlas, team Lily and Atlas. And then we find out at the very end that, you know, they do sort of reconnect, but we just don't know how far that goes or where that progresses. And I am so excited for more Lily and Atlas. She did say that it is a sequel with prequel vibes, which makes me think, she commented that on a social media post, and that makes me think that we're going to be seeing some stuff that has already happened from Atlas's perspective, but also a continuation of where the story left off. At least that's what I'm hoping for. She said we were going to get Atlas's perspective and Lily's. We only got Lily's perspective in It Ends With Us, so I don't know if that means the whole book is dual POV or if we're gonna get snippets of both, but from what I can tell, I would predict it to be mostly in Atlas's perspective. So that's sort of what we know as fact, or like what she has suggested or hinted towards. Now, I do want to read you the Goodreads blurb. This blurb is on Goodreads, it's on Barnes & Noble, all of the like retail websites. So it says, before It Ends With Us, it started with Atlas. Colleen Hoover tells fan favorite Atlas's side of the story and shares what comes next in this long anticipated sequel to the glorious and touching #1 New York Times bestseller, It Ends With Us. So there she hints at Atlas's perspective, but also she commented on a social media post saying that we would be getting both Lily and Atlas's perspectives in this new book. Now I'm gonna go over some things that I would like to see from It Starts With Us. Like I said, I obviously have no clue what is in this upcoming book. Nobody does, besides Miss Colleen Hoover and her editors. But what I would like to see is obviously more Lily and Atlas, which is what she said we would be getting. I was Team Atlas pretty much from the beginning. I know a lot of people kind of were super hardcore Ryle and then really started to change and feel more like Team Atlas. I definitely thought that Ryle was an appealing character at the beginning, but you know, as the story progresses, you start to dislike his character more and more. And although I did like his character in the beginning, to a certain extent, I definitely was rooting for Atlas the entire time. So I am extremely happy to see that we will be getting more Lily and Atlas. She did mention, she commented on a social media post. I don't know what her exact words were. I tried to go back and find her comment, but I couldn't. But she basically said that she wouldn't be justifying Ryle or like glorifying him or redeeming him in this new book, if that makes sense. It was something along those lines, which I'm very happy to hear, because obviously, having read the book, Ryle is definitely more so a villain in a sense, and he did things that were not okay. And so I'm glad to see that she says she's not going to be redeeming him as a person in this next book. So that makes me very happy. I am curious about where Ryle will be as far as involvement goes, because we know that Ryle is the father, so he definitely has some sort of involvement, but I don't know if he's going to be like actually physically involved. Like, is he going to still be a part of their lives in the future? Like, I really want to know how that's gonna go. So I really hope that Colleen goes into detail and kind of explains that dynamic of the family as a whole. Now that's assuming that Lily and Atlas become a family. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Ryle. I do want to know what his involvement is going to be, but other than that, I don't really care about his character so much. I'm mostly here for Lily and Atlas. I'd also love to see Atlas's perspective on the restaurant scenes. So this is where I'm hoping that she does, like, you know, retells parts of this story, even maybe before, or things that weren't mentioned in this story but the same timeline as this story from Atlas's perspective, but then also gives us more like farther in time than what this goes. So I'd love to see his perspective on the restaurant scenes, because I feel like those were such pivotal moments. And I have to show you guys something really quick, speaking of bibs, so I'm gonna be right back. Okay, so I got this sweatshirt as a Christmas present, and I just had to share this with you guys. This is from the brand Backstitch Burton. Emily Burton is the owner. I will have Backstitch Burton linked down below in the description box. If you guys loved It Ends With Us, which I'm assuming you did if you're watching this video, you're gonna love this sweatshirt. So my friend Kristen, my amazing friend Kristen, got this for me for Christmas, but she had Emily make it for me, and Emily is actually coming out with an entire It Ends With Us collection for her clothing line. And here is the sweatshirt. So she had this logo kind of created, and it says Bibs Restaurant. We have the Chicago skyline, and then it says Chef Atlas Corrigan. And this is just the cutest thing ever. I am absolutely obsessed with it. On the sleeve here, it says Better in Boston, which, if you know, you know. That makes me so happy. I am obsessed with this sweatshirt. You guys need this sweatshirt. Like I said, she's coming out with a few other things that she hasn't released yet, but I saw a sneak peek of a potential flower shop sweatshirt, if you know what I'm saying. So I can't wait to see her new collection. But definitely go follow Backstitch Burton on Instagram for more updates, and go check out her website. She has a few different collections right now, but this sweatshirt is absolutely fantastic. I'm obsessed with it. So thank you to Kristen for getting this for me for Christmas. And thank you to Emily for creating such a beautiful masterpiece. So I had to mention that since we were talking about bibs. But yeah, definitely go check out Backstitch Burton. All of her info will be linked down below. So back to what I would like to see in It Starts With Us. I wrote here that I'm hoping for a continuation of the story. I want to see the progression of the relationship between him and Lily and the baby. In my dream world, they would get married, maybe even potentially have more children together. I don't know how far this book is going to go in the future, if at all, but this is what I'm hoping for. I would love to see Lily and Atlas married. I would love to see them with more children, or just, you know, a family as they are now. But those two things would make me so happy. And other than that, I'm trying to think of what else could potentially be in this new book. I would love to see the ending scene of It Ends With Us from Atlas's perspective. I would also love to see the scene where he takes Lily to the hospital from his perspective and know like what is going on in his mind. Like, I can only imagine what he is thinking just based on who he is as a character and who we know him as, but I would love to see those pivotal moments from his perspective and then the continuation, like I mentioned. So please let me know what you would like to see from It Starts With Us in the comments down below. What are you hoping for? What are you hoping doesn't happen? I can't really think of anything that I don't want to happen other than them just like becoming friends, like, which would be fine, and that would be still a happy ending if they're both happy as friends. But I would love to see them romantically together and loving each other as partners and as a family. That's what my preference would be in the story, but I would still be happy with them being friends and loving each other as friends. But I really hope that they make it as a couple, because that would make me so happy. But other than that, the only other thing I could potentially think of not wanting is for them to, you know, drift apart, not be together anymore, which I can't imagine that would be the fate of Lily and Atlas based on this book here and everything that they've gone through and their relationships and all of that. So those are my thoughts. Please, let's chat down below in the comments. I'm going to be replying to as many of you as possible. Reply to other people's comments too. If you guys like have more that you want to say and add to other people's comments, that would be super cool. But that's going to be everything. I will have It Ends With Us linked down below in the description box. I will have the pre-order links for It Starts With Us down below in the description box. I will have Backstitch Burton linked, as well as her Instagram, so that you guys can get updates on when her collection will be launching and what will be included in this collection. But definitely go give her a follow because she deserves it. But that is going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I will have my Goodreads down below, as well as a playlist with all of my other book-related videos here on YouTube and some other random things that I can think of. It'll all be down below. I love you all so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.